the Christian tradition, the so-called right-wing Christians, the conservative Christians, the fundamentalist Christians, who also are really tired of the way that their money is going into war efforts. And I think if there's a space for a common ground, then we make use of it. We have the conversations and connect with people of all ideas who share with us a reach for peace. So you had something else?
One more thing. So I just wanted to say one other thing, which is to kind of name one of the elephants. There are, of course, many elephants in the room whenever we talk about the dynamics of trying to reinvigorate the work of FOR nationally and to support the efforts that all of you are making regionally. One of those is the reality of diminishing resources, particularly financial resources, that has been a constant struggle for the National Council over the last number of years. And the strategic plan that Andrea referenced, and that Mark referenced again, that we passed in October, really tried to bring some focus and some real intentionality to our work. So the strategic plan basically calls us, all of our work at the national level, into work that we've characterized as demilitarizing life and land. And then we carry that demilitarizing life and land work out in relationship with all of you and with the other regions around the country, insofar as we can work to make those relationships as healthy and vibrant as possible. And through the work of 3 different task forces that Andrea spoke of, right? The one on Latin America and the Caribbean, the Middle East, and social, economic, and I always miss them. Racial justice. One of the things that we've had a lot of conversation about with the staff and the National Council has been, how do we use the small amount of resource that we can bring to bear to have exponential impact and support the movement around the country. And I'll just give one example that John talked with a small group about last night, of a way in which we're really working to make that happen. Many of you know and have been impressed by John Lindsay Poland's work doing research that has really undergirded the movement, particularly most recently in Colombia with the issue of the U.S. military bases and trying to document exactly what's going on with those military bases, where does the funding come from, what happens once the U.S. funding goes to a community, does the level of violence go up or down, right? John's done an awful lot of work with some other colleagues in that area. And one of the things we've said that we're just beginning to try and play around with is, how can we take a skill that John has really honed to the level of art, as far as I'm concerned, and share that skill with an ever-widening group of volunteers around the country who actually also hone it to a level of art, so that when our partner organizations and partner organizations in the movement out there are looking for a particular kind of help, FOR has something unique to offer to the movement, right? Without worrying really about who gets the credit for it. The issue is, okay, well, here's another research piece, and so John can say, well, I've got somebody actually who I know I can call on who could take on this particular task of research and come back to us with an answer in a couple of months or 4 months or whatever it might be. And that's one example of ways in which, little by little, we're trying to kind of bring an exponential impact to the work that we're doing. So we're really adding value to the broader movement, and that people will recognize, I think as they have historically, that FOR brings something really unique to the table. So I hope you'll watch for that and look for ways that you all can be involved as we work at our level, trying to create more and more opportunities, and you all are working on kind of your levels of expertise. One of the questions is, how do we mesh those things together so that we actually have something really significant to offer out there?
Thanks, Rick. I have a question for you that follows pretty nicely from what Rick was talking about. NC members are here and are going to be carrying this experience of a regional conference back to our own local chapters in California and Georgia and Tennessee. And we would like to know what you can say to us about how our local chapters might be able to replicate what you've done here over the last 53 years?
You're looking for ideas right now?
Sure,
I'm looking for ideas right now.
I'll take notes.